Well, saw the game. Actually, kind of gave up on third quarter. Steelers versus the Chargers. What is my initial thought? Like I said before, if you treat the Steelers like a regular football team, you'll beat them. First of all, start with the Colts' victories. The reason why we beat the Colts, right, is because of 6 turnovers. Simple as that. Right? And to be completely honest here, Steelers are not a very good team. Alright? Despite them being the king of the North, still, they're not a good team. The Ravens are a good team. Alright? It's just they played Super Bowl contender teams early on. Now, the Ravens are going to be the kings of the North. Alright? So, I don't want no whiny babies trying to debunk what I just said. It's going to happen. It's happening right now. If the Steelers cannot beat the Packers and the Chargers, teams that are actually competent, Super Bowl competent, then they're never going to make it any further. And how can you expect to score if the offensive line can't hold up, can't block, or anything? And a lot of people are like blaming Aaron Rodgers for this. First of all, what do you want him to do? He's a 40-some-year-old quarterback that got off of a injury, like a very bad injury. Like, he is a 40-year-old man. Alright? It's not like we have Justin Fields back there who can actually run around and improvise with that crappy offensive line. It's not like we have Najee Harris who can actually bulldoze his way in there, you know? We don't have these luxuries anymore. Like, what do you think any quarterback would do? Not even Tom Brady himself can do anything behind this offensive line. I'm starting to think that Matt Canada and all these other offensive coordinators we've been getting rid of lately wasn't the issue. I think the issue is that offensive line is just awful. It really is. It's like, why do they keep making plays that doesn't work? We buy an Arthur Smith, expect to have the Falcons 2.0 with Matt Ryan and Julio Jones, you know. That's what I think it is, right? Don't know. Didn't do the research. What it really is, it's the offensive line. Again, if I was Aaron Rodgers, right, I will walk up to Mike Tomlin and say, hey, you're going to have to put Mason Rudolph in because I'm not playing for this team who has a crappy offensive line. That's what I would say. Like, even the preseason offensive line hold up. Even the third stringers in the preseason held up. No, really. You've been noticing that even with Kenny Pickett, you know, the king of preseasons or whatever, even the backups can block better than these guys. What's going on? How does Mike Tomlin find offensive linemen who can't block? It's just theoretically impossible. A blind person can't even accomplish that. I mean, even I can't even accomplish that. How do you find people who can't block? That's what I want to know. So, it's not the offensive coordinator's fault. It's not the quarterback's fault. Whose fault is it then? Well, it's the general manager's fault for drafting a crappy offensive line. It's the coaching's fault. It's the offensive coaching's fault because if I coach a football team, right, and my offensive line is just terrible, terrible, I wouldn't have a voice tomorrow. I wouldn't have no words, you know? How can you win games if you don't have a good offensive line? You cannot hire a 40-year-old person and expect him to be able to move around that. And let's talk about DK Metcalf. He has, and I have a great amount of respect for the guy. I really do. He did a bunch of crazy stuff in Seattle, stuff that you have never saw before, like the famous pick almost six, where the dude, Russ Wilson, I believe, threw an interception, and he just rushed down there and chased that guy around. A bunch of crazy stuff. And I'm wondering, how did we get DK Metcalf at the beginning? How did we get him? Alright? Oh, my back. But how did we get him? Just like this. Oh, because Seattle knew he would be a huge disappointment underneath that system. Our offense have literally downgraded, right? And a lot of people were happy that George Pickens was out. And now after looking at it, right? After looking at it, yes, George Pickens have his daily dose of crash outs. But at the end of the day, he's actually kind of balling out in Cowboys. In the Dallas Cowboys, with the Dallas Cowboys. So, what I'm trying to say here is get rid of Mike Tomlin. I know everybody been saying it for past 5 years, Difference between me and everybody else is I actually defended Mike Tomlin, saying stuff like, well, you can't fire Mike Tomlin because he don't have a franchise quarterback. He don't have this. He's just working with less. And it usually takes 5 to 6 years to build something. Literally, even when we had the killer bees, people want this guy gone, right? Even when we were scoring 30 to 40 points a game, even 2011 Super Bowl against the Packers, it's even when we lost Ben Roethlisberger very first year, when he retired, right in the season after, they said, "Ooh, they need to fire Mike Tomlin." Come on now, give the guy a chance. And it's not now what I see. What I see, Mike Tomlin, right, at his best, when Ben Roethlisberger arm went out against in Seattle, right? I believe in 2019/20, that was the best Mike Tomlin season ever. No, really. But in my humblified opinion, he needs to go. He needs to step aside. He needs to go. He needs to resign. What he's doing isn't working. What everything is doing isn't working. They need a guy. I can't even. I'm not gonna point at myself because I'll just end up firing everybody. But what they need is an offensive line coach. They need to get rid of the whole offensive line except for Zach Frazier. He's actually pretty good. And draft a new offensive line. And that's what they need. You cannot ask a 40-some-year-old man who came off a Achilles injury and have him run around circles like a chicken cut off his head, and he's not fast, he's not elusive, he's just trying. You can't do that. You can't even do that. Even the Jets offensive line hold up for Aaron Rodgers last year than this offensive line. Like literally. So I guess this will be the end of the video. It's just same old stuff. Like, I wasn't excited when we beat the Jets. I wasn't excited when we beat the Patriots. Well, Patriots is actually a good team. They're 7-2. Doesn't matter. Are they gonna make it in the Super Bowl? No. Teams that has a higher chance of making it in the Super Bowl will be the Packers, the Chargers, because they are a complete competent team, right? And the Ravens, and we can't even beat the Bengals. Like, the only team that right now will give me a little bit of hope if we can beat them is the Ravens. If we can beat the Ravens, not no lucky interception, not no lucky field goal misses and extra point misses and stuff like that. No. I'm talking like real beating, right? Like by 15 points. Then I will probably say that. But other than that, when we play against a competent team that can actually move the ball, score points, we do nothing because we can't do anything back. Like, I prefer at the time when we spend more money on offense what we would on defense. Like, I really miss that era. Oh, really? I really miss the Killer Bees era where they actually spend more money evolving around of Ben Roethlisberger, Le'Veon Bell, and Antonio Brown, where they evolve around those three, right? Because we actually score points. You cannot make it without scoring any points whatsoever. It doesn't matter how good your defense is. It shows it every single week. Literally, it shows it every single week. No matter how many interceptions you get, if you can't score, it's going to wear you down. So, yeah.